Hey there. In this video, we're going to start talking about rounding. Okay, rounding is something that we occasionally will be asked to do when we're working on problems with big decimal numbers or when we're dealing with really large numbers in order for us to be able to just kind of wrap our heads around those. So when we talk about rounding, the number we really need to search for in our determining whether to round up, round down, drop things up, whatever it is we need to do, the number we're looking for is the 5. Okay, we're looking for a 5. And the reason we look for that is because, as you can tell in our set of numbers that's there, the 5 is directly in the middle there. So if the number that you're looking to, okay, is 5 or above, then you're going to round up. So 5 and up, you round up. So if it's below 5, you are going to drop it off or round down, whichever way you want to look at that. You're going to drop it off or you're going to round it up. Now, one of the things we also need to look at is our place values, is what they are. Now, here's our decimal point, okay? We've got our ones, our tens, and our hundreds as we move to the left of the decimal point. Ones, tens, hundreds. Those are pretty simple. Most everybody's dealt with those types of numbers. Then we start working to the right of the decimal. Things get a little more confusing from there. The first position to the right of the decimal is called the tenths. The second position is called the hundredths. Then the third one is the thousandths, and the fourth one is the 10,000ths. And it keeps going in both directions, obviously, for that. But when we start rounding, let's look at our first example real quick. We look for the number. We're rounding 375.4863 to the tens. Okay, to the tens. So one of the key strategies that I typically like to use when I'm rounding is I would put a underline around the number I'm wanting to round to, okay? And then I put a box around the number just to its right, okay? When I put a box around that, that's the one I know I have to look at to see whether or not it is a 5 or above. So you find which number that you need to round to, put an underline on it, then go one place to the right. That gives you the opportunity to determine whether or not this number is a 5 or greater. 5 and greater, you're going to round up. If it's less than 5, you're going to drop it off or round down. Okay, so in this particular case, the one that's in the box is a 5. So that means I'm going to round up. So this would become 380. And we would just leave it as that because the rest of that doesn't matter because that's where we talk about rounding. So we look at our next example, same number, but we're going to round to a different position. We're going to round to the tenths. Okay, so this is my tenths number. It's a 4. Doesn't matter what that number is. Remember, we're looking for the number just to the right of that. I put my box around that one. That's an 8. Is that 8 greater than 5? Yes, it is. Of course, you knew that. So that means that the 8 is going to turn the 4 into a 5. So we have 375.5. And that gives me my final answer with that one. So the 380 was my final answer here, 375.5. Remember, look at the difference in our numbers depending upon where we're rounding to. Okay, so our third example, 375.4863 to the 100ths. To the 100ths. Tenths, hundredths. Okay, so that's the 8. So the number that really matters to me is this number just to the right of it, which is the 6. 6 is greater than 5. So we have 375.49. 6 turns the 8 into a 9, and then that rest of it drops off. Gives me my final answer with that. Now, we look at this one now, 375.4863, same numbers we've used all along, to the 1,000th position, tenths, hundredths, thousandths. That's the number I'm rounding to. That's the number that matters. Now, 3 is less than 5. So that means it's just going to drop off, or we technically round down. So that gives me 375.486. Now, I want to look at one additional example as we move through this. And let me throw one additional number up here for us to look at. Let's go 398 3.98. 3.98. And we're going to round it to the nearest tenths. So we're going to round it here. Okay? So in doing so, I want to make sure, here's my round, that's the number that matters. 8 is greater than 5. So it's going to take the 9 and round it up. But wait a minute, it's already a 9. If I round that up, that means 9 gets rounded to 10, right? So if a 9 gets rounded to 10, then the 9 becomes the 0. The 1 gets carried up here. 3 plus 1 gives me 4, so that becomes 4.0 rounded to the nearest tenth. Okay? I hope that was pretty clear for you. If not, send me a message and I'll be glad to help you out. Thank you.